Alrighty, we're going to add another outlet over here because I'm getting a very nice stereo and a TV to set up here. And here in the country I was born in, we use a 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps, 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps. Black is live, the white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop or a 220-240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. So I'll show you how to install the wire mold, feed wires through, and wire receptacle, and connect it to this receptacle here. We have two 12-2s in this box, and we're going to use some Wago wire connectors to connect the wires together. So first we'll take the cover off this outlet here. Oh, we got plenty of room, plus we have a Wago back in here to connect to this one. And I'm going to leave this ground on here because and now we'll identify the live wire. That one's the live one, so I'll stick a cap on there so I know to put that one in the Wago last. Just double check it again. This one, so I'll just stick a cap on here temporarily. So we will we're going to use the box with the open back here to come off of this one. So I'll unscrew it from this here. Okay, I'm not going to tighten it down securely now, so so this is the corner piece we'll be putting in here. Get our cellophane off the wire mold here. We're going to take this off because we're not going to be linking any more wire mold pieces together. So we will take this piece and we'll put it in here like this. You can see how it goes in like that. And we'll mark where we have to cut it by sticking this into our corner of the wall like this. And we'll make our little mark right there. Cut it right here with my hacksaw. So you can see it on the camera here. There's my mark right here. Okay, so I'll take my flathead screwdriver. I'll make sure I get all my burrs out of here so I don't have any sharp edges that cut into the wire. Like that, so we make sure we don't, and this is the factory edge. Now I'll do my other edge that's going to go around the corner here. Make sure all our sharp edges are gone. Alrighty, so now we can put this piece back in here like this. Goes in like that. See how you get it under the lip there on both sides. And this goes in here like this. And we'll have to go get our screw gun and we'll screw that in. Well, that's if I find my bit. If I don't find it, I'm just going to do it by hand, and it's not a problem. I can do it the hard way. It's not any big deal. You don't frustrate. You don't get upset about not having stuff and not being able to find it. So you just rock forward with what you got, and you don't get upset. So we'll get this straight here. I wish I had my Phillips bit, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. And you don't complain about what you don't have, because it's not going to change it. So you just do it the hard way, that's all. There's nothing wrong with doing something the hard way. I use a shorter screw because that was mighty hard to turn. If I had my bit, I would be very thankful, but since I don't have it, I'll be thankful for my hand screwdriver. And you know what? I'm not even going to get upset. I'm not going to frustrate. I'm just going to be thankful for what I have. I'd rather have a hand screwdriver than nothing at all. Because there's so many people that just don't have anything at all. There. So now we'll take this end, we'll tap this into here, or I'll come in on the side like this. Tap it down all the way, come in here, make sure that both of them. Make sure it's on both sides, get it nice and straight. I'll see if I have anything to screw into, and if I don't, you know what? I'll be thankful for sheetrock to screw into. If I have something, great, I have something to screw into. And it looks like all I have is sheetrock, so. I can use a couple of wall anchors. Make my hole down here in the bottom. And I'll take the Phillips screwdriver and I'll screw my wall anchor into the hole. And now we can put our screw, and I'll use this screw here because it's easier to turn. See if it goes in nice and tight, which it does. Tighten it up nice and snug in here. I'll put one more in the bottom. You don't want to over tight because then you'll just strip it out and blow the hole out. So we got to put our green bonding screw in here. So we got to ground to our box before we ground, when we ground to our outlet. And we'll stick one over here too. Okay, we'll take the wires off of this outlet here. And we'll close the screws we're not going to be using. Okay, so now we'll put our wires through. So we'll get our wire out of the jacket here. Okay, so we'll start sliding our wires down through the wire mold here. Tap that over again and tighten it. Now I can tighten the screw up. I'll tap this over a little bit. Okay, I think I have enough there now. Push this back over a little bit. Get snapped in over here and over here. Tighten this screw. Tighten this one. Okay, so I'll get our black out, our white, and our ground. Get our ground wire down here. Get it around our green screw so it's bonding to the box. But I went the wrong way. I have to go the direction the screw turns. Just keep sliding down, so I gotta tap it back over again. Okay, it's in. I gotta tap this thing in. Okay, now it's together where I want it. This is our corner piece. We just push the wires back in so I have to make sure they're not going to get pinched. We set this in here like this. Yeah, I'll make sure our wires aren't pinched by moving them back and forth so I can tell they're not pinched. I'll do the same thing here. Now over here, we'll get our ground wire around the ground screw here. Bring it up. Goes our loop. I'm going to straighten our box. Got a little crooked on top of it, snap it over like that. Tighten it up. Now our box is all nice and straight. Now I'll bring the camera down for the hooking up. We're going to get a strap on here if we have one. But if we don't, we don't. We'll just put it on off camera sometime. But fortunately, we got one. Well, I guess I'm hitting some plaster and lath under here, so I will hold it. Okay, now I'll bring the camera down and I'll show you how to hook these two ends up. Okay, so this box here came with this piece, so we took this from another box that we used, and we're going to use the back plate of the other one. So we will break this little tabby out on the side here. We'll break the second one up since it's the bigger wire mold, like that. Goes over the box and the wire mold like this. I want to make sure I get in on the track on both sides there. We're in the track here and here. We're in the track here and here. So we'll strip our white as the neutral, black is the live. I wonder if I have any brand new outlets. If I don't, I don't. And I'm not going to get upset if I don't. Okay, I happen to have some outlets. The white goes on the silver screw, which is the wide slot. The black goes on the brass screw, which is the narrow slot. The ground wire goes to the green screw, which is the ground hole. So that's how we polarize our outlets here in the country I was born in. So we'll close these two screws that we're not going to be using. So we will put our ground wire around the green screw, close our loop the direction our screw turns. Now, using a Phillips screwdriver, see how it hops like a bunny rabbit? You get frustrated, you ruin your bits. I'll show you what that is. That is called a Robertson screw head, and it's like a little square. So when you put it in there and turn, it goes nice and tight. So over here, we'll put our white wire on the silver screw. You make sure you get your copper under the screw head all the way around, and our insulation is not pinched under the screw head. So now we can turn it around and we'll get our black wire on the brass colored screw. Make our loop the direction the screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight and our copper is under the screw head all the way around. We have a nice solid connection. Give one more turn. It's nice and tight, and that's what we want. Now we can fold our wires into our box. So we'll keep our ground wires down on the bottom here. And so it stays away from everything. I'll push our black and white in so that they don't hit anything in the back there. We don't want it to hit. We're going to make sure our screws don't hit the wires. Put it on there nice and straight. I'll look, make sure our screws are not hitting the wires. And they're not pushed against anything. Nope. Okay, so we have our two ground wires coming in for the previous ones here and here, and the one to the outlet here. So we have this one coming from our new outlet, bonding to the box, and we'll push this back into our box where we want it, back into our box. And we'll push it up in. And we want to make sure we get our copper up to the top all the way like that. See how all four of our copper wires are up at the top like that. Now we can push this back into our box. Now we'll do our white wires up. These are our ideal Wago type connectors here. Okay, so we'll strip them, our wires. We'll hold it up to our Wago to make sure we didn't strip it too long, which we stripped that a little too long. So I want to make sure our insulation gets into the yellow there, but not, and get our copper all the way up to the top. So we'll push it in like this. And see the copper up at the top? That's what you want, and the insulation is up inside the yellow. So we'll strip our other white wires here. So you want to make sure your wires are all nice and straight before you insert them into the Wago. Okay, so we'll stick these in. I make sure I feel the little barb, push it in, and my copper comes up to the top. Put it in. See how my copper is coming up to the top here? Push it in. There, the copper is up at the top on all of our wires. That's how we want them. I'll tip it down so you can see it on the camera. That's what we want. All of our copper coming up to the top and all our insulation down in the yellow. So we can push this all back into our box. I want to show you something else I like to do. I like to put a piece of tape along here so we don't have a sharp edge that the wires could cut open on. We'll use some 3M electrical tape. So I'll get it down here. I don't like how it wadded up, but there we go. Tore off, so it is what it is. So now we can fold all of our white wires into our box with our ground wires all back out of the way here. This one will go to the outlet. So we can get our white wire onto the outlet here. We'll strip off about 1 inch. Turn our outlet around here. Make sure it's tight. Copper's under the screw head all the way around. Our insulation is back. That's the most I like to have it back because it's up onto the plastic here. Now we'll turn it around. Okay, now we'll get our black wire here. This will be the tail that goes to the outlet. And I'll shorten this up. This one will go in the Wago. Make sure that's straight when you put it in the Wago. Make your loop the direction your screw turns. Okay, I'll just make sure these screws are snug here. And now we'll start hooking up our Wago for the live wires here. Okay, so I'll push, okay, I'll start with this one here. Okay, that is a little bit too long. Okay, so I'll start with this one here. Feel the barb, push, make sure the black is into the yellow and the copper comes up to the end. I'll come down here. We'll get this one, feel the barb, push it, make sure the copper comes up to the end like that. Now we'll come over here and get our tail to the outlet, push it in, copper comes up to the top, and now we'll do our live wire here. Pull it out. Take it. And I'll just bring it back, put it in the hole, push. See our copper up at the top and our insulation's in the bottom. That's what we want there. All the insulation is into the yellow and all our copper is up at the very top. You don't have to break all the little tabbies off to make it go in.
Okay, now we gotta break these little tabs out again. Top one since we're using a bigger wire mold. Make sure we're in the track on both sides here, and I'll tighten this screw up. I'll make sure my screws aren't hitting the wires. That one's not hitting. That one's not hitting. Put our cover back on. Okay, we'll stick our cover on our last out right here. I'll make sure our polarity is right. Narrow slot is live. Narrow slot is live. So that is how to add an outlet here in the country I was born in using a wire mold. Peace. Thanks for watching.